Some people are buyers, no buyer is market, some markets are not malls. And only two conclusions given to us, right? Some malls are buyers, some buyers are not malls. So let us draw the basic diagram first. Some people are buyers. So people, buyers. Next, no buyer is market. No buyer is market. So these two will not touch each other. No buyer is market. And some markets are not malls. Remember, this is some not type of statement, right? Some markets are not malls. I'll say this is market MK. The some markets are not malls. Let's say this is ML. So some markets are not malls means outside markets are not malls. Remember, for some A's are B's. Some A's are B's. And some A's are not B's. In both the cases, the basic diagram is drawn in the same way, right? This is A and this is B. The difference is, for the first one, we refer to this region, this shaded region, right? Some A's are B's. You getting it? And for the second one, some A's are not B's, we refer to this region. Some A's are not B's. You have to understand. Right? If you look at this diagram, you should know that when we say some A's are B's, we are referring to this completely shaded region here. And when we say some A's are not B's, we are referring to the external region of A, which is not overlapped with B. So here again, when he says some markets are not malls, which region are we talking about? Some markets are not malls. These outside markets. We are saying that these markets are not malls. Okay, don't look at the diagram and get confused that some markets are malls. See, some markets are not malls does not mean that some markets are malls. Are you able to follow? You need to go back and refer to the syllogisms video, right? The basic concepts there, right? The statements and their direct conclusions. Some A's are not B's. What is the definite conclusion for some A's are not B's? There is no definite conclusion, right? If some of you are thinking that some markets are not malls means that some markets are malls, you are wrong. Right? Some markets are not malls does not mean that some markets are malls. This region may not be there also. Are you able to follow? This is a possible this is a basic diagram. What we have done is a basic diagram. What is the possible way of drawing it? Let me draw the possible diagram here. What is the possible way of drawing this diagram? Some people are buyers. This is anyway straight. No problem with this. No buyer is market. No buyer is market. You can draw like this. No buyer is market. Then he says some markets are not malls. We can draw malls in this way also. Nothing wrong. Some markets are not malls. Are you able to follow? Even this is correct. Even this diagram is correct. It follows the given statements, right? Some markets are not malls. I can say all these markets are not malls. All these markets are not malls. Yes or no? So the point that I am trying to make is some markets are not malls does not mean that some markets have to be malls. You getting it? They may be malls. Some markets may be malls, may not be malls. Okay, so keep that in mind while you are answering questions involving some A's are not these types of statements. Okay, now look at the conclusions. The first conclusion, some malls are buyers. Always refer to the basic diagram, right? First refer to the basic diagram. Some malls are buyers. Some malls are buyers. Now in the basic diagram itself, malls and buyers do not overlap, right? In the basic diagram itself, you find that malls and buyers do not overlap. And you very well know that if a conclusion does not follow the basic diagram, it is wrong. So I can say conclusion number 1 is wrong. Some malls are not buyers. These malls are not buyers. Okay. Sorry, some malls are buyers is wrong, because in the basic diagram itself, malls and buyers do not overlap. He is saying some malls are buyers. No, malls are not buyers. Hence, conclusion 1 is wrong. Look at conclusion 2. Some buyers are not malls. Some buyers are not malls. Now, if you look at the basic diagram, some buyers are not malls is actually correct. I can say all these buyers are not malls. Are you able to follow? The conclusion says some buyers are not malls. We can choose these buyers. I can say these buyers are not malls. I can say this section of buyers is not malls. This section of buyers is not malls. This section of buyers is not malls. So the point is, some buyers are not malls satisfies the basic diagram. Yes or no? Some buyers are not malls satisfies the basic diagram. Clear? Some buyers are, so a statement, a conclusion when satisfies the basic diagram, can we mark it as true? No. Remember, when a conclusion satisfies the basic diagram, you have to check the possible diagrams. If it doesn't satisfy the basic diagram, it is definitely wrong, like what we have seen in conclusion 1. But in conclusion 2, it satisfies the basic diagram. Some buyers are not malls is satisfied here. So by conclusion satisfies the basic diagram, check the possible diagrams. Now check this possible diagram. Some buyers are not malls. Even here it satisfies. I can say these buyers are not malls, or these buyers are not malls, or these buyers are not malls, right? Some buyers are not malls. All the buyers are not malls is a different story. Again, don't get confused that all the buyers are not malls. Why are you saying some buyers are not malls? I can always choose some of these buyers and say that, see, these are not malls. Getting it? So some buyers are not malls satisfies this basic diagram, satisfies the possible diagram. But again, is it true? No, you have to ensure that it satisfies all the possible diagrams. So possible diagram 1, it satisfies. Let me draw a possible diagram 2. Let me draw another diagram for this one and see if it satisfies or not. First statement, some people are buyers. Some people are buyers. No buyer is market. No buyer is market. Right? And last statement, some markets are not malls. Some markets are not malls. Now, some markets are not malls. Can I draw markets? Some markets are not malls. Can I draw malls like this? Anything wrong in drawing malls like this? ML. These are malls. Are you able to follow? See, the point is, what did we do in possible diagram 1? We have not overlapped malls with markets. And we have, understood that some markets are not malls is satisfied here. Yes or no? In possible diagram 1, when you do not overlap markets and malls, you find that yes, some markets are not malls is correct. Now, instead of drawing malls here, what I am doing is I am overlapping with buyers fully. I can draw malls like this. Even then the statements have been followed, right? No statement has been violated. Some markets are not malls. Yes, these markets are not malls. Some markets are not malls. These markets are not malls. But in this process of possible diagram 2, you find that all the buyers are becoming malls. And if all the buyers are malls, can we say some buyers are not malls? Tell me one buyer which is not mall here. All the buyers are malls. All the buyers are malls. Now the moment all buyers become malls, some buyers are not malls becomes false. So this is wrong. Again understand, conclusion 2 satisfied the basic diagram. It satisfied the first possible diagram, but it did not satisfy the second possible diagram. That is the reason it is wrong, because a conclusion is true. A definite conclusion is true if and only if it satisfies all the diagrams. So 1 does not satisfy the basic diagram itself. 2 does not satisfy one of the possible diagrams. So neither 1 nor 2 follows. Option 4 is the answer.